Okay, now let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Yes. Low latency chat or stream. I guess chat as well. Once I am big enough, I am gonna have a fucking website with. Oh my god. Why? Why? With a integrated chat so that I can fuck off, or so that YouTube's chat can fuck off. Anyway, if you're watching this, because I have no live viewers at the moment, let me just listen. Live viewers at the moment, let me just listen. Anyway, if you're watching this, because I have no live streamer, yes, I have a. Shut up. I have a new microphone. If you haven't noticed, it's very sexy. I decided to invest a little, invest a tiny amount of money that I have just laying around because I was gonna buy a new chair because this one, I hate this one. I can't lock it down. It refuses to be locked down. So I'm always reclined in it. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. So I am looking for a new chair. The one I was gonna buy from IKEA. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Lagspel, matchspel. Why is it every other? IKEA. Here we go. And let's sort by high to low. Because it's supposed to be here somewhere. There we go. Styrspel. That's the name. This is the one I was going for. My local IKEA, however, does not have it in stock, except for the purple one. I do not want a purple chair. I'll sit in this chair until this gets into gets in stock. I am not having a purple fucking chair. I'm sorry. Yes, I am that petty. It wouldn't fit my vibes, you know? It wouldn't fit my vibes. I've also I did a photo shoot with a friend who's a tattoo artist, and in return, he tattooed me. Ooh, let me see if I can. Okay, I'm gonna have to stand up. Come on, focus. No focus. Okay. That's what he did. That's what he did. How awesome is this? And it is really good. I mean, the details. I love it. I absolutely love it. So thank you for that, Willa. I think it turned up on screen. Quite nice. You can tell that it's still a bit red, but it's healing really nice. It's only not even. Well, it's kind of exactly a day old, 24 hours. So yeah, that's what I was doing yesterday. And before I do anything else, Yeah. Before I do anything else, I have this idea, and I have to. Ooh, maybe I should do it at the end of the stream, because maybe there's some viewers then. Maybe. Ah, fuck it. Maybe there's some viewers join me for the actual segments. I was inebriated at one point. I was a tiny bit inebriated by something. And I had an idea. I had a thought. Because I was watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The only good Sony Pictures movie. The only one that's... I don't know how you can go from the Emoji Movie to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That to me is mind-blowing, how one studio can produce both these movies. However, that's not the point. In the movie, when Miles Morales meets Spider-Man, the Peter Parker of that universe, what was it called? The Golden Age Peter Parker. When they two meet in the collider, and there's a black hole that explodes, they go boom, blah, 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 pulls everyone in, yada, yada, whatever. A thought occurred in my head. This is how the spider sense works. And here's my idea. The black hole, because it's magic. The black hole is magic. The black hole works as kind of communication between both time and space and dimension and all this. It's a form of communication where every Spider-Man, because there's been millions of Spider-Men, there's been trillions of Spider-Man who's all done the exact same thing. The exact same thing. At the exact same point. At the exact same location. Thousands, trillions, millions. Not all of them lived. As we can see in the movie, Spider-Man, Peter Parker of that universe, I'd say commits suicide. Because he realizes the only way, I believe, this is my headcanon, when he's in the collider and he peers through the universe, I believe, in my headcanon, that he could easily have taken himself out of there. Easily. However, he also saw that this, him giving up his own life and pulling the others being pulled into his universe is more beneficial than to not live, or than to live, you know, for everyone, because he's altruistic, you know, he cares about people and life and such. And going back to the point, by doing this, by committing suicide or succumbing to death and pulling these people, he creates the first ripple, or that's like the initial instantiation of the ripple effect. It's time, it's space, it can go backwards, it can go forwards, whatever. So what the spider sense really is spider people listening to other spider people who have already gone that path, who have already traveled down that road, and the furthest or the best outcomes are the ones. Look at it like a trail in the forest, or a shortcut through the grass, where thousands of feet walk every day, and the ground is, or the grass dies for that path. This is how the spider senses work, the tingle. They're just following the path of least resistance that other spider people have already laid out. That's the idea that I had. It's hard to communicate exactly, but I just felt this so much. And it's been lingering in the back of my head a little bit. And last night it popped up again. Just, it was there. And I couldn't get it out. And I hate that. My ADHD is very much, I have to talk extensively, or at least engage extensively with an idea before I am quenched of that idea. It's kind of an obsession, you could say, which I understand isn't that uncommon for people with ADHD. I've just never, prior 2 years ago, I wouldn't have said this ADHD. It's just who I am. But now I know it's my ADHD that's fucking with me. I have to know how far this idea goes before I'm done with it, or before I'm okay with just leaving it be. So, I've been thinking, what would, because I can't write a Spider-Man book, but if I could, I would write about the spider sense. I'm sure it's been done before. There's probably some internal canon for how Spider-Man's tingle works. I'm sure there must be something, but that's what I would want to write about as a first issue, sort of. But I can't, because I'm not a writer. I'm not that good at it. But I toyed with the idea of writing a book, or at least a short story about it. And the idea I have, probably due to my new tattoo, I'm gonna say, I had the idea of a Viking, a somewhat middle of the road Viking, just a regular dude, pillaging when he's away, and loving his family, and just being a farmer when he's home. Nothing special really. But he meets Loki, and Loki gives him an ability, or he gives him the option of an ability, but it's a trickster ability, and it's the spider senses. He can sense someone is behind him with an axe or something, and he can just duck, and someone is punching him from the front. He just moves away because he knows it's coming. He doesn't have the slow down, but he just works on instinct, and the instincts tell him, do this. And as long as he follows the instincts, he's alive. Until he's not. Because the path that Loki has set him towards is one of death in a certain way, which benefits, or it's a kind of a trickster death of some sort, or it benefits Loki in some way. I'm not sure of the details right yet, but that's... And the idea that I have is that he becomes a great warrior. But then, once he's a great warrior, he realizes at some point the instincts are leading me down a path I do not want. He realizes the trick that Loki has pulled on him. And he has to fight his own instincts. That's the idea. Can I pull it off? I have no idea. Will it be any good? I have no idea. But I like the idea. I like the idea of Loki, the god Loki, not the Marvel Loki, being able, just doing this, you know? It feels very Loki. Yeah, and while we're on the subject of Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse, I had an idea for a Spider-Verse movie. Oh shit. My girlfriend did a test yesterday. Her teacher just called her. It might be the final test she does. If it is, she's finally got her exam. Thank fucking God. Oh, she's just blue-balling me. Oh, the bitch. Anyway, while I'm gonna turn off the sound for this. Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse script that I have in mind. Spider-Verse 1 wasn't about time travel. It was about space travel or dimensional travel. But what if it was about time? What would that look like? I had the idea that kind of like my God, my hair looks shit. Kind of like Memento, where you move backwards, but the last scene is also the last scene in the movie. Or follows the first scene in. If you lay it out on a chronological order, the last scene is the last scene in chronology. But the scene prior to that scene is the first scene. That kind of mindfuck. And it would be basically Spider-Man, the Miles Morales Spider-Man, jumping through dimensions and saying the exact same thing every time to every new Spider-Man. So he jumps over and he says something like, I'm going to explain this. Or we don't have time to explain it. However, we need to do this. Oh my God, my nose itches. Something like that. It's been a while since I've even thought about this script, but it came to mind again because of last night. And every time he moves, and then he has to jump to the next dimension and the next dimension, but you never hear what it is he has to say to them actually. Until the last scene, where he meets everyone or something like this. Work with me. He meets people and they tell him what he needs to say to convince them that what he says is real and they actually need to help him. You know? So wait. What if I that? Nope. What if I do that? I'm more to the left. I like. Oh, yeah. That's better. That's better. So they inform him what he needs to say to them to convince them to follow along with his lead. That's the last scene of the movie and in chronological order. So the whole movie would basically be able to be viewed in a loop. That's the idea. You will be able to view it in a loop where every puzzle piece is set up after it's been revealed. But you don't realize it's been revealed until you see the setup. This script, this story, oh my god, my nose itches. This story is way too complicated for me to write. Way too complicated. I'd probably there will probably need to be like a writing team or something, but that's the idea I have. And I like the idea. I like it. But I can't pull it off. Loki script? Maybe. 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 Who knows? Who the fuck knows? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry, my nose itched so fucking much. Everyone, let me see. I need to change some settings. And I can't do that. Oh, I've already done it. Interesting. Interesting. So if I say start recording on 100 gigabit or gigabyte, I mean, disk space, is that gonna be enough? I wanna see. I wanna see. And it opened up my eyes, I saw the sign. While that's calculating, everybody's heard of the Ukraine or the Crimea bridge bombing. 8 hours. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Everybody's heard of the Crimea bridge bombing. It is a glorious piece of military targeting, let me just say. I can feel my nose is still itching. Let's just view it again. And boom goes the dynamite. Now, unfortunately, there were civilians on the bridge. You can't call it a terror attack since the actual target was the bridge, not people. It was done during the night where there were minimum amount of traffic going on. Now, some people have decided to call this a terror attack despite that. Look at this. Look at this. How glorious is that? Preventing the Russians from using the bridge. Now, I've heard the bridge is kind of open already for train traffic at least, which is probably what mostly is used for by Russian military, I'm gonna guess. Or it's at least, if nothing else, easy for them to use the train crossing instead. They can just switch if that's what's needed. The gray zone, they have a very interesting take, a very interesting expose. I don't know how, I haven't read it, and I don't know how much I trust the gray zone to be fair, to be objective here. Oh my god. This is not good. It's not good. Nobody is calling. This is what I mean. They're just... Nobody is calling Ukraine a good country. We're only calling it better than Russia. Ukraine didn't invade nobody. Russia did. That's why we don't like Russia. That's why we want Russia out of Ukraine. They're not welcome there. Anyway. Let's just see what the British spies were up to, if we can trust this article. And I'm gonna do this, and then a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. Okay. Exposed. Before Ukraine blew up Kerch Bridge, British spies plotted it. The secret British intelligence plot to blow up the Crimea's Kerch Bridge is revealed in internal documents and correspondence obtained exclusively by the Grey Zone. That's why I don't trust it. It's exclusively by the Grey Zone. And who the fuck would expose or provide evidence of this magnitude to the Grey Zone? The Grey Zone has obtained an April 2022 presentation drawn up for senior British intelligence officer hashing out an elaborate scheme to blow up Crimea's Kerch Bridge with the involvement of specially trained Ukrainian soldiers. Almost 6 months after the plan was circulated, Kerch Bridge was attacked in an October 8th suicide bombing apparently overseen by Ukraine's SBU intelligence service. Detailed proposals for providing audacious support to Kiev's maritime raiding operations were drafted at the request of Chris Donnelly, a senior British Army intelligence operative and veteran high-ranking NATO advisor. The wide-ranging plan's core component was destruction of the bridge over the Kerch Strait. Yeah, because that's the bridge that Russia uses to supply its military in and the people, of course, on Crimea. So of course they would blow it up. so that Russia can't provide supplies to their military. Of course. Documents and correspondence plotting the operation were provided to the Grey Zone by an anonymous source. The truck bombing of the Kerch Bridge differed operationally from the plot sketched therein. The truck bombing of the Kerch Bridge differed operationally from the plot sketched therein. Yet, Britain's evident interest in planning such an attack underscores the deep involvement of NATO powers in the Ukraine proxy war. It's not a proxy war. Not even close to a proxy war. At almost precisely the time that London reportedly sabotaged peace talks between Kiev and Moscow in April this year, British military intelligence operatives were drawing up blueprints to destroy a major Russian bridge crossed by thousands of civilians per day. Listen to that language. Listen to British military drawing up blueprints to destroy major Russian bridge crossed by thousands of civilians per day. No mention of the military use of it. Not a silch mentioning of the military use. The roadmap was produced by Hugh Ward, a British military veteran. The possibility of talks between Zelensky and Putin came to a halt after Johnson's visit. UP sources. I mean, okay. Following the arrival of British Prime Minister in Kiev, possible meeting between Ukrainian President, blah, blah. Quote from the article, Russian source, Ukraine, from Zelensky's surrender to Putin's surrender, how negotiations with Russia are going. The Russian was actually ready for the Zelensky-Putin meeting. But two things happened, after which a member of the Ukraine delegation had to openly admit that it was not the time for the meeting of the presidents. The first thing was the revelation of the atrocities, rape, murders, massacres, looting, indiscriminate bombings, and hundreds of thousands of other war crimes committed by Russian troops in the temporarily occupied Ukrainian territories. A more legit reason to not have peace talks with an occupying force I've never seen. Ever. The second obstacle to agreements with the Russian arrived in Kiev on 9 of April. Details. According to Ukrainian Pravda sources close to Zelensky, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, who appeared in the capital almost without warning, brought two simple... Of course without warning. Why would he warn one of the most powerful people in the world would not go to Ukraine, an active war zone, with warning so that Russia could, or terrorists could shoot down his plane? Of course he wouldn't give them a warning. Brought two simple messages. The first is that Putin is a war criminal, true, as presented here. He should be pressured, not negotiated with, true. And the second is that even if Ukraine is ready to sign some agreements on guarantees with Putin, they are not. Johnson's position was that the collective West, which back in February had suggested Zelensky should surrender and flee, now felt that Putin was not really as powerful as they had previously imagined, and that here was a chance to press him. Yeah. 3 days after Johnson left for Britain, Putin went public and said talks with Ukraine had turned into a dead end. 3 days later, Roman Abramovich arrived in Kiev again, and President Zelensky officially stated there could be two security agreements with Russia. One would concern Ukraine's coexistence with Russia, the other only security guarantees, because not everyone sees themselves at the same table with the Russian Federation. After that, according to Ukraine Pravda sources, the bilateral negotiations process was paused. So, At almost precise the time that London reportedly sabotaged peace talks. Yeah. Probably what happened was that Zelensky went to, Johnson went to Zelensky and said, yo, listen up, brother. We have a plan. We will provide you with arms. If you keep fighting, we will keep providing you with arms. You do not have to surrender to Putin if you don't like to. If you want to, feel free to surrender. We do not control you, but here, we will help you with intelligence. We have we know of strategic positions. We know of strategic architecture that you can sabotage, which will help you win the fight against Russia. I do not see any issue with this at all. However, it's a gray zone, so they're going to spin it in the worst way possible. It is also possible that even if Zelensky hadn't gone there, considering the graves, the mass graves, the evidence of torture, that and everything else that has been uncovered by Ukraine and done by the Russians, I don't think Ukraine wants to surrender, even if the West stops providing weapons. But we should keep providing weapons. Continuing, the roadmap was produced by Hugh Ward, a British military veteran. A number of strategies for helping Ukraine pose a threat to Russian naval forces in the Black Sea are outlined. The overriding objectives are stated as aiming to degrade Russia's ability to blockade Kiev, erode Moscow's war-fighting capability, and isolate Russian land and maritime forces in Crimea by denying resupply by sea and overland via Kerch Bridge. Sounds perfectly reasonable to do with an ally. Why not? In an email, Ward asked Donnelly to please protect this document, and it's easy to see why. Of these assorted plans, only the Kerch Bridge raid concept of operation is subject to a dedicated annex at the conclusion of Ward's report underlying its significance. Is subject to a dedicated annex. Is he saying that Russia or Ukraine would annex Crimea? How can they annex their own land? Reclaim it, but annex? Let's see here. Add as an extra or subordinate part, especially to a document. Add territory to one's own territory by appropriation. Reappropriation is not the same as appropriation. This is a weasel word. Or not a weasel word, this is a misleading word. The content amounts to direct, detailed advocacy for the commission of what could constitute a grave war crime. The content amounts to direct, detailed advocacy for the commission of what could constitute a grave war crime. It could not. Markedly imploring ways to destroy a major passenger bridge. There is no reference to avoiding civilian casualties. Why would there be any mention of avoiding civilian casualties when avoiding civilian casualties is the default? That's like saying, here's what I want you to write in a document. And then someone says, oh, but you didn't include the commas or the punctuations. Yeah, I assume you'll include those without me telling you. It's a default assumption. that you'll avoid civilian casualties. What the fuck are you talking about? Across 3 separate pages, alongside diagrams, the author spells out the terms of the mission. Disabling the Kerch Bridge in a way that is audacious, disrupts road and rail access to Crimea and maritime access to the Sea of Azov. Because if the bridge falls, you can't cross the above the bridge because you don't know the depth and all that. Yada yada yada. Ward suggests that destroying the bridge would require a cruise missile battery. A cruise missile battery to hit the 2 concrete pillars either side of the central steel arch, which will cause a complete structural failure and prevent any road resupply from the Russian mainland to Crimea and temporarily disrupt the shipping lane. Yeah, because they can remove the... let's see here. Hallelujah! Oh my god, this is awesome. Sorry for the whiplash. My girlfriend just had her last exam. And she is finally ready to... she's finally finished with school. Thank fucking god. Anywho, continuing. An alternate... let's see, Kirchbridge Ray Conops. Yeah, okay, that's just... An alternate scheme entails a team of attack divers, or UUVs, unmanned underwater vehicles equipped with limpet mines and linear cutting charges, targeting a key weakness and design flaw in the bridge pillars. Okay. This flaw is severely thin pylons used to support the main span, which were intended to allow strong currents to flow underneath the bridge with minimal friction. Ward pinpoints a particular area in which the depth of water around a set of pillars was just 10 meters, making it the weakest part of the structure. In related emails obtained by the Greystone, Chris Donnelly, the senior British Army intelligence operative and former NATO advisor, declared the proposal to be very impressive indeed. Let's see here. Open image. European attack scheme. Thanks you. Oh, sorry. I am a bit tired for some reason. Thanks you. Very impressive indeed. I am in London and going to meetings. Will cogitate. Okay, think deeply. Cogitate and get back to you ASP. Not ASAP. Chris, sorry this has taken so long. Daily, can we see April 27th? April 27th, okay. Delay due to post-funeral tasks and having a real problem with all of my email accounts, especially this one. Please protect this document. Yours A.Q. Okay. How do we know this is real, though? That's the question. Reached by phone, Hugh Ward did not deny that he had prepared the Kerch Bridge destruction blueprint for Chris Donnelly. Okay. I'm going to have a chat with Chris Donnelly and confirm with him that he's prepared for me to release, Ward told the Greystone when asked directly if he drafted the audacious plan. I asked again to confirm his role in the blueprint. Ward paused and then said, I cannot confirm that. I'll have a chat with Chris first. 4 billion transportation artery. At dawn on October 8th, an incendiary attack damaged the Kerch Bridge, a truck exploding, setting 2 oil tankers ablaze, causing 2 Crimea-bound spans of the roadway to collapse into the sea below and killing 3. While the affected section was quickly repaired and traffic resumed the next day. Western media has celebrated the incident as the latest Russian embarrassment and failure in the conflict with Ukraine. It really is. In some cases, journalists openly cheered and joked about what could possibly be categorized as a war crime that claimed civilian lives. If this is the definition of a war crime, claiming 3 civilian lives when the civilians weren't the target, anything can be a war crime. Do you know how many civilian cleaners there are at military bases? Tons of them, tons. Go to any military base, you'll have civilian contractors there. Is the base then not a legitimate target for an attack because of that? Of course not. At times, unfortunately, some civilians will die in war. Those deaths are at the hands of the invading force, however. That's how we have to look at it. The invading force forced those who are protecting their own to kill the civilians in order to win the war. Let's see what's being said here, though. I don't know if it's the... Could be. Anyway. Well, the effective second will click. The suicide strike targeted a connecting structure between Crimea and mainland Russia constructed at a cost of $4 billion, and whose opening provided a major public relations victory for the Kremlin, reinforcing Moscow's renewed control of the majority Russian-speaking territory. Yeah, that's probably why, partially, it was targeted. I mean, okay. Upon its unveiling in May 2018, Russian President Vladimir Putin remarked, "In different historical epochs, even under the Tsar priests, people dreamed of building this bridge. Then they returned to this, Russian... The bridge has been heavily defended since February 24th, not least because it serves as a major transport route for military equipment to Russian soldiers in Ukraine." There we go. Russia has previously promised major reprisals in response to any strike on the structure, as they did against fucking civilian structures. This is not a military target. Can we just can we get live AU map? The railway, if they haven't been an invading force, railway, absolutely military target. Absolutely, sure. But I know for a fact they also hit... Can I... No? I know for a fact they also hit civilian buildings. Oh, civilian areas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, not a military targeted attack, a civilian targeted attack, you can call a terror attack. And yes, the Russian defenders, the Russia defenders, the Putin lovers are gonna say, he warned you of this. This is what's gonna happen. Sure, doesn't mean it's not his fault still. Right? If I walk on someone's lawn and I say to them, or they tell me to get off their lawn, and I say, if you make me, I'm gonna kill you. And then they make me and I kill them, that's still my fault. I don't understand how people can turn this into Ukraine or Western bad, Russia bad in this instance. Following the attack, widespread euphoria erupted among Ukrainians, of course. Ukrainian authorities and Ukraine supporters on social media. Oleksiy Danilov, head of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, posted a video of the burning bridge alongside a black and white clip of Marilyn Monroe singing Happy Birthday, Mr. President, a reference to Putin turning 70 the same day. Holy shit! Are you for real? Oh my god, that's so good. Oh, that's too good. This is peak trolling. This is not only is this the first meme war, this is the first troll war. Oh my god. Furthermore, Ukraine's media has reported via an anonymous source in law enforcement agency that the attack was carried out by the Security Service of Ukraine, yet high-ranking Ukrainian officials, including Chief Presidential Advisor, this name, are now backtracking, claiming instead that the incident was a Russian false flag. Let's see there. I can't trust them. Translate. And now seriously, the FSB PMK are trying to eat the leadership of the Minister of Defense GSH, a moment before the change of personnel. The FSB goes into knockdown. They saw an explosion on Putin's bridge. Now the Minister of Defense will be able to blame the FSB for further defeats in the south. It is still not clear who blew up the bridge. Let me remind you that the truck arrived from the Russian Federation. Oh. Oh. Listen. It looks like everybody, and I mean everybody, wanted to blow up this bridge. From Russia to Ukraine to the UK, everybody wanted to blow up the bridge. It also looks like, if this is true, maybe Russia did. Who blew up the Crimea bridge? Let's see who's in the right here. Russian Federal Security Service said on Wednesday that it had detained 5 Russians, and 3 citizens of Ukraine and Armenia in connection with the bombing of a vital bridge to Crimea, an attack it said was masterminded by Ukraine. The FSB said the attack was organized by Ukrainian military intelligence and its director Kirill Budanov, echoing accusations by President Vladimir Putin over what he called a terrorist attack against a critical civilian infrastructure. Critical to who? Critical for what? The organizer of the terrorist attack on the Crimean Bridge was the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, its head, Kirillov Budanov, its employees and agents, said FSB, the main successor of the Soviet-era KGB. Ukraine has not officially confirmed its involvement in the bridge blast, which why wouldn't they if it was they, on Saturday, but some Ukrainian officials have celebrated the damage, and an unidentified Ukrainian official told the New York Times that Kiev was behind the attack. The FSB said the explosive device was camouflaged in rows of construction polythene film on 22 pallets with a total weight of blah 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 blah. Control over the movements of the cargo along the entire route, and contact with the participants in the criminal transportation scheme was carried out by an employee of Hermo. The FSB said in a statement using the acronym for Ukraine Military Ensemble. Okay. The explosion wrecked one section of bridge. Among the Russian forces launched mass missile. The FSB head. So it looks like maybe this was an unsanctioned attack. The plans might have been abandoned by officials within Ukraine. However, lower level officials didn't know it was abandoned, but maybe someone who did know it, because they asked around, gave the plans to civilians, some of which, 5 of which, were Russians. Here's what you have to know. Here's what you have to understand. Russian civilians do not like Vladimir Putin. Who do you think targeted Dugin? Daria Dugin, she wasn't the target. Her father was, Alexander Dugin, who is a high-level Russian official shaping Vladimir Putin's worldview. A Nazi. He was the target. His daughter, also a Russian official, became the victim of the car bomb. Do you think Ukrainians walked into Russia and just did a car bombing? No, it was Russians. Russia is turning on Putin. They finally see their opening, so they're taking it. And good for them. Good for them. Fuck Dugin. Fuck his daughter. May she rest in peace. Continuing. So it looks like maybe there's some confusion within Ukrainian military. Can't for the life of me guess why. Might have something to do with, having to scramble in the middle of a war. They weren't the most developed army before the war, and they had to develop very quickly. And they've done extremely well for themselves. And they've shown that Sweden and Finland shouldn't capitulate to Turkey in order to join NATO. We should join NATO, but we shouldn't capitulate to Turkey's demands to join NATO. NATO should kick out Turkey. It's not going to happen, but they should. Furthermore, Ukrainian media has and this is I love this. Ukrainian media reports things the Ukrainian officials don't like. Do you think Zelensky liked this report. Zelensky probably hates this report. He wants this to be in the dark. Ukrainian media is so free, it's allowed during active war, days after an active operation, if it was Ukrainian, officially sanctioned Ukrainian operation. They're allowed just days after that operation to report on things that isn't in the public view. And I haven't heard anything about retaliation against it. Do you think Russia would allow that? There is zero chance Russia would allow for that to happen. Zero. Such allegations have become commonplace in the wake of incidents in which Ukrainian or Western culpability seems like an indeed certain, such as Nord Stream pipeline explosions. That's. We don't know who bombed Nord Stream. We do not know. As a Swede, this is in our territory. It happened. We do not know who did it. What we do know, let's see here. Ja, give me Swedish news. Oh my god, what? Fuck it. Images. Come on, just give it to me.
Mr. Putin tries again to divide European countries.
Here we go. Why would Russia attack Nord Stream, it says?
There are no facts right now. Just we can only just speculate and thinking just who could have motivation. Of course, Putin's Russia could have such a motivation because just to increase the problem.
Oh, Mikhail Kasinov, former Prime Minister of Russia, is speaking. English, please. Prime Minister of Russia from 2000 to 2004. So this isn't a nobody speaking here.
Problems for Europeans. Problems with winter, with producing just energy. That could be the case, and that's why he almost stopped just Nord Stream 1 in summertime for so-called for repair or general maintenance. And now he decided to stop everything, to create more problems and to create tensions in the society of the European countries, so that those societies will start to criticize their politicians. There's also those efforts focused on that, of dividing European countries, so that they could not have a common foreign and security policy, defense policy.
But here's the thing. We don't know yet. But there is a possibility that Russia did this. So yeah. Why would the West bomb this pipeline when the West needs the pipeline for energy? What the fuck would be our purpose? What would we win on that? Oh, we get to freeze in the winter? Awesome. Let's do that. Laying the foundation for World War III. Sure. That's Russia doing that. While the attack on Kerch Bridge did not involve specialist divers, underwater drones, or cruise missiles, there are indications that Ward's plans were shared with the Ukrainian government at the highest levels. In fact, Chris Donnelly forwarded them to former Lithuanian Minister of Defense, this name, before introducing the pair by email. Audios, have you looked at the attached ideas from my pal, ex-military, as you might guess? To Odysseus. Who the fuck is Odysseus? Sorry this is taking a long delay due to post-film. Okay. A leading figure in Lithuania's anti-communist movement has admitted to deliberately leading pro-independence fighters into Soviet snipers' line of fire on January 13th, 1991. This incident is sometimes referred to as Vilnius Bloody Sunday, Vilnius Bloody Sunday, and is officially observed as the Day of the Defenders of Freedom. Butkevičius and his confederates knew the maneuver would provoke mass casualties, further inflaming the local population against Soviet leadership and encourage regime change, which is why they orchestrated it. And his confederates knew the maneuver would provoke mass casualties. More recently, co-owned Bulkomers KS, a company that served as the main intermediary in the supply of Bulgarian weapons and ammunition to Ukraine through third countries for use in the civilian war in Donbas. Butkevičius and has been credibly accused of working for British intelligence. Email exchange with Donnelly confirmed he is in contact with Guy Spindler, a longtime MI6 officer who was posted in London's Moscow embassy. What's the point of all this? What are you trying to say here? Reached by phone and asked if he reviewed the audacious plan to destroy... Why did they keep saying that? To destroy Kerch Bridge, Spindler through the gray zone. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Contemporary accounts suggest Spindler directly coordinated with Boris Yeltsin at the time of the failed coup against Mikhail Gorbachev in August 1991. Thank you. I'm in contact with Guy. Please give me a time to speak with you. Hi, Audios. This is to put you in direct contact with Guy, who will be seeing Justin tomorrow, so that you can both talk to one another directly on Signal or WhatsApp about the project. Okay. Was also for many years senior fellow at the Institute of Statecraft, a shadowy charity foundation by Donnelly that manages a number of arm's-length military and intelligence operations on behalf of the British state and NATO, including the now notorious Foreign Office black propaganda unit, the Integrity Initiative. What the fuck is this? More gray zone. Okay. Leaked initiative files name Butkevicius as the organization's key contact in Ukraine at the time of the country's 2019 election. 3 years earlier, he was one of the escorting personnel for 5 Ukrainian intelligence operatives whisked to London by the Institute for Statecraft in order to brief the British military on Russian hybrid warfare techniques. Alongside him was Vidmantas Eitutis, who at the time... I'm sorry, I can't pronounce these names. They are completely foreign to me. And welcome, viewer, by the way. Alongside Eitutis, who at the time trained... I'm just going to mumble the names, okay? Trained Ukraine's army to conduct active counterintelligence operations in Luhansk. Oh, okay. Escorting personnel, Colonel Resident Lieutenant. Okay. In the Kerch Bridge sabotage proposal. Thankfully, we're finally back at the Kerch Bridge sabotage proposal commissioned by Donnelly. Ward asked whether the Russian military knew how vulnerable the bridge supposedly was and what countermeasures could be expected in response to its destruction. The blitz of retaliatory missile strikes on Ukraine on October 10th provides a likely answer. It is also probable that if Ward's outline was followed, Moscow's reprisal... No? What? This does not say anything about how much Russia knew about the bridge vulnerabilities. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It says they realized the vulnerability after the explosion. If they knew about it, they would be guarding it heavier than they were. Thanks for the like, by the way. Donnelly was clearly unmoved by such concerns, declaring the plans... Oh, sorry. It is also probable that if Ward's outline was followed, Moscow's reprisal would have been even more deadly, putting the lives of countless Ukrainians and Russians at significant risk. So, when Ukraine targets a bridge, it is a possible war crime. When Russia targets civilian areas, it's retaliation. Am I missing something here? I don't think I am. I absolutely don't think. The gray zone are just Russia shields, nothing else. Donnelly was clearly unmoved by such concerns, as you should be as a military operative, declaring the plans to be very impressive indeed. A similar disregard for catastrophic consequences was evident in a private memo authored by Donnelly in March 2014 outlining military measures that Ukraine should take following Moscow's seizures of Crimea, stating that if I were in charge, I would get the following implemented. Donnelly advocated mining Sevastopol harbor using a car ferry, destroying fighter jets in Crimean airfields as a gesture that they are serious, using a big microwave anti-satellite weapon. Oh, damn. Big microwave anti-satellite weapon to take down Russian space installations and turning the West for oil and gas supplies, which, to be fair, he has been proven right about, hasn't he? I am trying to get this message across, he concluded. These prescriptions have yet to be implemented, perhaps because they risk triggering an apocalyptic situation. Indeed, such gestures would amount to brazen provocation against a nuclear power, from which Ukraine oil and gas network was and remains exclusively designed to receive energy. Yet it appears Donnelly and those around him would be content to see World War III erupt over Crimea. In fact, at the leaked document obtained by the Grey Zone will continue to demonstrate provoking conflict between the West and Russia has long been one of the ultimate objectives. No, not even close. The ultimate objective of the West's engagement in Crimea, as far as there is any engagement by the West in these regions, has been for Russia to get the fuck out. Retaliating against Russian aggression has been proven to be the only way to win. They did appeasement. Crimea was the appeasement. If Russia hadn't invaded Ukraine, nobody in the West would support Ukraine attacking the bridge. If indeed Ukraine did attack the bridge, nobody in the West would support Ukraine moving military into Crimea now. If Russia had just stayed the fuck out of the rest of Ukraine. That's the reality. Nobody in the West were hoping for a war. But when they invaded Crimea, if Ukraine had decided to protect it, the West would absolutely support that. That's their right. For sure. But after so long, and they hadn't, and Russia had clearly set up borders, clearly put military bases in Crimea. Yeah, sorry, Ukraine. You had your chance, you didn't take it. The West decided to appease Putin instead, in an attempt to make him stop. What happened? He continued to fucking invade Ukraine because you can't appease a strong man dictator. That's not how that works at all. So yeah, here we are. We're bombing bridges because they're used as military supply lines. If no military supplies were ever used, if you never transported military supplies over that bridge, of course Ukraine wouldn't attack it unless there was another bridge. It's a fall off. But if there was no risk of Russia using the bridge for military supplyment, Ukraine wouldn't have bombed it. Everyone knows that. This was a military action. Period. Anyway. God, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go grab. This is empty, and I am a tired boy, so I need to go grab another one. Another one. Hey there, viewer. Can I get a hell yeah in chat? I just want to know you're live. You're not a bot of some sort. I don't know. Feels better to have a real viewer in chat than a bot. That refreshing monster taste. Focus. The next thing I wanted to talk about, if you're like me, you're a fan of Red Letter Media, because who isn't? Everyone should be a fan of Red Letter Media, for real. For real, son. If you're a fan like me of Red Letter Media, then you know about, what's his name? Paul Kuchapoli? This guy. Paul Katupali. He had a movie, Clash in the College? Is that what it's named? Yeah. Oh my god. And it's about ideologies clashing, and it's kind of somewhat probably a self-biography of Kutapali's own time in an American college. Because he is... don't go get ahead of yourself. He is an Indian man, I believe. At least he sounds Indian. Let's see what his... praise the Lord, brother. Please post Telugu message. Glory to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I believe God still heals. Satan equals adversary equals our heart equals sin within deceived Paul. The vast majority are living in a delusion that some angels rebel against Yahweh. I believe. I'm not sure. Anyway, I wanted to watch this video and just see what he has. What's he up to today? What is Kutapali up to today? Let's see. Oh, let's see here. Oh, before that, come on. Okay, I have to. Throne Gauntlet. Who is above Satan on the power tier list, though? I'm gonna say. Oh, that's a good. I'm gonna say everybody. Everybody, especially God. God is above him. I mean, based on your name, Odin is up there, right? Based on my name, you mean because Hugin? I mean, Odin is the Norse mythology is not a mythology of absolute powers. Gauntlet. You can't look at it like, oh, well, that's the top god, and therefore he has absolute power. No. That's not how it works. You have to look at it as the Greek gods. They're flawed. They are more human-like than they are Christian godlike. You know? That's how I have to look at it. Let's look at Defender's Voice with Paul Kutapali. Okay?
How powerful is Satan?
Nah, it's 2022. We have to rank everything in a tier list now. This is hashtag content. You know what? Paul. You know what, Gauntlet? I might do that. Ranking the Norse gods in a tier list. I will do that in the future.
Let us see the question today from David. Welcome to Defender's Voice. This is Dr. Paul. Thank you for joining us today. Please send me your questions to info@drpaul.org. Visit my website www.drpaul.org to read my articles. Let us see today's question from David. He writes, I have a problem interpreting what the Bible tells us about protection from Satan and evil. We read that we can ask for and receive protection based on the Lord's Prayer. Deliver us from evil. Psalm 101. Jabez's prayer and experience. 2 Chronicles 4:10. Luke 10:19.
Oh my God, he's so slow.
Nothing shall by any means harm you. But then we read Luke 21:16 compared with verse 18. Some will be put to death, but not a hair of your head will be taken. An apparent anomaly. According to Luke 9:1, Jesus gives his disciples authority and power over all demons. And this must include Satan. My question is, can we expect God to protect us and our loved ones from evil? Can we expect God to protect our houses and families? Can I pray that God will protect my extended family from ever-present evil in the Philippines?
The right answer? Absolutely not. Not even a chance. Hell no. Atheism rules. God sucks. Fuck Jesus, milady. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, Gauntlet. Well, Satan is kind of just like a demon. He's nothing special really in the Bible, apart from being kind of like the first. Well, he was kind of special, wasn't he? Morning Star. I'm. Oh my God. He is a fallen angel, but all demons are fallen angels, Gauntlet. He was special to God. He was special to, I believe so, yeah. Morning Star, Satan. I'm not sure. There's so much about our understanding of Christianity that is wrapped up in cultural understanding rather than biblical text. You know, it's hard to parse them out when you haven't read the Bible. You know, I used to be a Christian. I'm no longer. And I never read the Bible. Why would I? It's fucking boring. In the Bible, in the book of chapter 14, King Babylon is condemned in a prophetic vision by prophet Isaiah, and it's called. Wait. King of Babylon is called the Morning Star? The son of the morning? Okay. Who addressed... Oh my God, this is so boring. However, the tradition Lucifer has been abandoned in modern English translation of Isaiah. Present translation is Morning Star. In a modern translation from the original Hebrew, the passage in which the phrase Lucifer or Morning Star occurs begins with the statement, "On the day the Lord gives you relief from your suffering and turmoil and from the harsh labor forced on you." Did I just drop a frame? Did I drop a frame? I've dropped 3 frames. No, 10. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, Gauntlet. This is so convoluted, and what's also happened is due to Christianity's constant need to convert people, they incorporated other people's religions or their traditions, at least, into their own religion in order to make the transition easier. For example, here in Sweden, we were never a Catholic society, ever. However, we're celebrating Lucia, an Italian saint. This shouldn't be a thing in Sweden, and yet it is. Because, you see here, all the Nordic countries celebrate Lucia. Because when we were Vikings, when we were heathens, we had a day of light, of some sort during that day, December 13. So what the priests did was they scoured through the books, finding anything to celebrate on that day. And they found a black-haired woman in Italy who was burned at the stakes and I believe maimed by, just like Jesus were, with a poke. She was poked in the stomach, which is why the Swedish Lucia, dressed in white for the holiness, has burning hair or a burning head and has a red ribbon around the waist. There is nothing other like this in Sweden at all, or in the other Nordic countries either. But since we were heathens, since we were Vikings, since we believed in Odin and shit like that, Christians incorporated our traditions into their own, which is also why we, unlike the rest of the world, apart from, I believe, South America, maybe South America as well, I've heard South America celebrates Christmas on December 24th, not 25th. We do not celebrate Christmas Day, we celebrate Christmas Eve. From what I understand, this is due to us, or the Vikings, believing the next day the next day started when the sun went down. That's when a new day was started. Not when the sun rose, when the sun set. And that's what I understand why we celebrate Christmas on 24th, not the 25th. Anyway, back to Paul Kotopoli and how he answers this very interesting question. Can I pray that God would protect my extended family from ever-present evil in the Philippines? I'm guessing he's talking about drug use. No? Okay.
So David, thank you for your questions. You said Luke 10:10, nothing shall by any means harm you. But then we read Luke 21:16 compared with verse 18. Some will be put to death, but not a hair of your head will be taken. An apparent anomaly. Okay, folks, there is no anomaly here if you understand these verses in their context. In Luke chapter 10, Lord Jesus Christ was talking to his disciples regarding their ministry under him. Jesus chose 70 disciples and gave them a ministry of preaching about the kingdom of God. He told them that nothing shall harm them during their ministry. They could heal sick people. They could safely walk over poisonous snakes and other animals. They could cast out demons. Nothing would harm them. Now God can.
And I would implore? Is that the word? Implore? Okay, yeah, implore. I would implore every Christian around the world, every religious person around the world to try this out. Bring out a pit of snakes and just venomous snakes, try to walk over them. I would implore that, yeah? See how well that works out for you.
Kept his promise. Every one of those 70 disciples was preserved. Every one of the 12 disciples of Christ was preserved. They were all apostles. That is the key fact. Today we don't have any of
that would be prime time television. That's the next Christian Mr. Beast. Oh yeah, we found it. Christian Mr. Beast gauntlet. How do you start the video? Mr. Kriest? I don't know. We'll workshop the name. I just bought this giant snake pit, and I have 100 people who will walk over the snakes. Will they survive? And if they survive, they will go to the heaven of kingdoms, or kingdom of heavens, whatever. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Christian Mr. Beast. Because Mr. Beast, since the Bible talks about the beast and that beast in the Revelations, right? So he's kind of like Antichrist, isn't he, Mr. Beast? What would be the opposite of Mr. Beast? We're gonna have to workshop it. Anyway.
Apostles. Anyone who thinks he is an apostle is kidding himself. I am an apostle. God told me that Donald Trump will be re-elected. You know how it all ended. They all made fools of themselves.
Wait, what?
12 disciples of Christ was preserved. They were all apostles. That is the key fact. Today we don't have...
Ah, damn it. We're gonna have to find apostles. I don't believe there's any living apostles, is there? There are people who claim to be apostles. I'm sure of that. But I don't think there's anyone living right now. Ah, damn it. They can't... Christian Mr. Beast is cancelled. I'm sorry.
Have any apostles. Anyone who thinks he's an apostle is kidding himself.
Honest to God, who I don't believe in. Kind of true. I like it. Kind of true. Thank you, Paul Katapali. Thank you. It's true. Anyone who thinks if you're a Christian and you happen to stumble upon this video and you think to yourself, oh, this goddamn heathen atheist, listen to Paul Katapali. If you hear someone who claims to be an apostle of Christ, run the other way, bro. Run the other way, okay?
I am an apostle. God told me that Donald Trump will be re-elected. You know how it all ended. They all made fools of themselves and brought dishonor to Lord's name. Can you cast out the demons? Can you go to a hospital and heal the sick? You're welcome to come to my clinic.
Oh my God. What the? This reminds me of myself during my religious period, where I was like, yeah, I believe, but your claims are outlandish.
Can you go to an operation theater and heal someone without a surgery? Can you raise someone who died due to COVID this afternoon? Can you predict the next US president? You can't. So you are not an apostle. Stop fooling yourself and people around you.
Okay.
So David, there are no apostles today. So we should not apply those words from Luke chapter 10 to us. Then you asked me about Luke chapter 21, verses 16 and 18. In verse 16, Jesus said, some of you will be put to death. In verse 18, he says, not one hair will perish. First, let us see that.
I honestly thought this was going to be much more cringe than it is. I honestly believed it was going to be super cringe. But no, Paul Katapali, kind of true.
Context of this passage. Lord Jesus Christ was describing the end times to his disciples. He was informing them of the great trials which would happen during the tribulation years. You would be killed, but still preserved. Not a hair of your head will be taken. Now, that is not about physical safety. It is about our spiritual security.
Yeah, exactly, Gauntlet. I was completely prepared. Having seen the Red Letter Media clash in the college video, I was completely prepared for him to be rah-rah Trump and I am an apostle. No, apparently not.
All believers are secured in Christ. Look at Afghanistan, folks. The Taliban put some Christians to death.
Yeah.
They could destroy their bodies, but their souls will go to heaven to be with Lord Jesus Christ. We should and we can pray about our physical safety. You can pray for the safety of your family in the Philippines. We are commanded to pray for all things at all times. God controls all outcomes. Satan has the power to destroy our bodies, but he and his demons are under God's control.
Okay, so this is the inherent contradiction of modern Christianity, I'd say, where, because I don't know, I can't speak for how they treated this in the past, but modern Christianity I can absolutely speak about, and where they say God controls the outcomes, God, pray to God, and things will happen in God's, if it's God's will. Okay, so then it's God's will to allow the devil to influence me. Is that God's will? Apparently it is. Apparently God wills the devil to influence me, which is kind of interesting.
Satan tried to kill Lord Jesus Christ many times during his earthly life. He inspired King Herod to kill baby Jesus. He inspired people in the synagogue to kill Jesus after his preaching. He tempted Jesus to jump off the cliff with the hopes of seeing him dead. He inspired Pharisees, Sadducees, and the high priests to kill Jesus. He failed every single time. But when Jesus observed that final Passover with his disciples in Jerusalem, he broke bread and gave them. We read in John 13:27, as soon as Judas took the bread, Satan entered into him. That was so horrible when Judas took the bread from the
Which
Savior,
God allowed.
Satan entered into him to plan the murder of Jesus. God allowed Satan to possess Judas on that day, at that time, because it was the right time God appointed.
The Christian MMO. I've seen, as a avid board gamer and former role-playing tabletop role-playing gamer, the amount of Christian bullshit there is staggering. Absolutely staggering. And yes, this looks like it could come from, this looks like it could come from a board game, actually. And I'm guessing you're talking about
cured in Christ. They could destroy their bodies. We are set God's control to kill.
Come on, just show it. The purple. There we go. Yeah,
the bread. Jesus.
Can you just chill out, please? This is really goofy looking. I don't know why I didn't reflect on it when it came. Oh my God, Hugin, what are you doing there? Or Moonin, maybe. Oh my God, what's happening? That's not Odin. You son of a bitches.
Satan entered into him.
I first thought you meant that picture, actually.
That was so horrible when Judas took the bread from the Savior. Satan entered into him to plan the murder of Jesus. God allowed Satan to possess Judas on that day, at that time, because it was the right time God appointed for his son. We can also see this in the lives of apostles.
Oh, at least Katupali acknowledges that, yeah, God allowed for Satan to enter Judas' body. The question then becomes, is Judas really a bad person? I don't think he is, if God allowed for the devil to possess him. How could he be culpable for anything he done at that point? At all.
Satan tried to kill the apostle Peter many times. God sends angel to break into prison and bring Peter out. Satan tried to kill apostle Paul many times, but both were killed by Nero in Rome. God prevented Satan from killing them physically until their day killed by Nero in Rome.
Fucking neckbeard dweeb. What the why haven't I seen that before? Nero, Roman, Claudius. There we go. Claudius. Is that the same? No. Nero burning. Great Fire of Rome. Who? I just want more God damn it. Look at this fucking dweeb. The neckbeard. Holy shit. This dude would be so reviled by... He would fit in modern society. I tell you that.
God prevented Satan from killing them physically until their day came under Emperor Nero in Rome.
Nobody talked smack. This Nero was the school shooter of his day. That's who Nero was.
The same is true for all believers today. Our eternal security is firmly preserved in Christ. We don't have to worry about it. That is guaranteed. Our physical security is preserved and guaranteed in the sense that God preserves us from the death until He is done with us. Satan.
Oh, that's kind of grim. I'm done with you. Like some... what's the kid in Toy Story? The neighbor kid? Oh, sorry. Neighbor in Sid. God is Sid from Toy Story. I am done with you and just threw you out. Oh my God, that's grim.
And all his demons might try to kill us in many ways.
Thanks, Gauntlet.
People who hate us might try to kill us in many ways. They will only succeed when God allows them to hurt us. We don't have to be terrified of that day or moment. In fact, we can praise God because He is done with us and He wants us to be with Him in heaven.
Okay. What if I'm not done with life? And honestly, if God has that amount of control, first of all, Paul, you're a much more lovely person than I ever expected. But also, why is God not throwing out all heathens? Why do I have a better... According to you, no, either Christians should die an early death more often than non-Christians because they have achieved what they are set out to achieve. I don't think there is such a... I hope there isn't. If there is, oh my God. Who's hunting all the Christians? And also, why the fuck would I be a Christian then? If I get to live longer if I'm not a Christian. And for all the non-Christians who die early, did God, before they had a chance to become Christian, before they saw the light, is God condemning them to burn in hell for eternity? Again, culture versus... There's nothing in the Bible that says we are burning for eternity, whatever, but still. This is a grim view of the reality. Holy shit, Paul.
So David, you can be confident of God's protection over you and your loved ones in the Philippines. You can always rejoice in Christ, and you can always pray that God's will be done in your life. Jesus saw death, okay? He saw the crucifixion coming his way. He was under so much stress and anxiety due to the impending death. Look at his prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane. His sweat became drops of blood. You can imagine how much anxiety he went through. He prayed to the Father, Father, take this cup away from me, but not my will, but thy will be done. God did not take away the cup, and Jesus was killed the next day. Yet God's will was perfectly done, and our salvation came from his sacrifice. God brought good out of that evil. The same is true about us. We may pray to God, God, take away this cup away from me.
Okay.
This will be done in our live channel, and share your comments and like this video. Thank you. God bless you.
You know what, Paul? You know what? I'm gonna like the video. That was better than I expected. I don't like the message. I'm not a Christian, but come on. It's better. I expected him to be way worse. Way worse. This is sad. He has 10K subscribers and can only muster a few hundred, not even 100 viewers. That's sad. Ooh. Oh, Paul! for the win. Paul, oh my God.
You are in the kingdom of heaven, so don't think like a pagan. Our blessed Savior says, don't
This is a 1.5 speed. I think we can go to a 2x speed and be completely legible.
worry, trust in God, seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and God will provide for all your
Yeah. Come
Let
on.
us read a verse from Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. That is the kingdom of heaven. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert recently said, if Jesus had AR-15s, he would have escaped the Roman crucifixion. How blasphemous. Jesus had
Oh my God. She's so stupid. There would be no Christianity if Jesus had an AR-15. What is she? She must. I want to smoke what Boebert is smoking.
had all the power of heaven at his disposal. He would have destroyed his enemies in a fraction of a second had he wanted to. He kept his power under control and forgave them. Look at the Roman soldiers. They cursed him, spit on his face, punched his face, dragged him on the floor, crowned him with thorns, nailed him to the cross, pierced his side. Yet he forgave them all. He prayed for them. That is the kingdom of heaven. Recently, we have seen the horrible school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. An evil young man went into a school and killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Their parents went through indescribable loss and pain, and they found hope in Christ. They erected 21 crosses in front of the school for 21 victims of the shooting. They also put an imaginary drawing of the face of Jesus. None of these parents cursed the shooter. They found hope in Jesus. They forgave the shooter. That is the kingdom of heaven. You are in the...
Okay, so I don't agree with, of course, I don't agree with all his prescriptions. Mainly because I am not a Christian anymore. But generally, if he was the archetypical Christian around the world, and especially in America, because American Christians are way more cringe than the rest of the world's Christians. If more Christians in America especially were like Kotopali, I would have very little issues with them. I would have philosophical issues, I would have religious issues with them, but I don't care that much about it. If they are generally pleasant and kind people, believe whatever the fuck you want. That's my live and let live policy. Boebert, however, is not a pleasant person. Boebert needs less Christianity in her life. That is my prescription. And would Katupali agree with me there? I have no idea. But I have hope. Oh man, he didn't even talk about the police response. What was God doing for the police at Uvalde? Yeah, I get. It's religion. It's religion. It's. You're never going to, if you expect religious people to be, what do you say? To be consistent. If you expect religious people to be consistent and able to reflect on their past beliefs and apply them to current beliefs and realize the contradiction, you're not going to have a good time. Because yes, Kutapali apparently believes the Uvalde school shooting victims deserved it, had it coming, their time was up. Were all of them Christians? Was there perhaps a Muslim kid in the school or an atheist kid who's now burning in hell? Perhaps. I'm sure Kutapali believes that all these kids go to heaven because blah, 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 because he's a kind, good person. And that's the mental gymnastics all religious, all kind of good religious people have to do. So I forgive him. He's okay. If if we want more people like Kutapali in the world, we're gonna have to allow them to be a bit contradictory at times, you know? I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna argue with them. Honestly, I don't expect consistency. I'm just enjoying the bands. Yeah. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. Ooh, but yeah, I was very surprised by Kutapali's videos and his religious views, because the Clash at the College video or movie, there's a lot of right wing imagery in it, in terms of like media and books and stuff, because it's a bad movie. And there's this, if you haven't watched it, there's this I can probably bring up the video. Let's do this. No. Red. Clash in the College. Let's see. Oh, and here is a perfect representation of why I had it at 2x speed.
Again, a little more slowly.
Why is he so sleepy?
Okay. K as in king.
Okay.
A as in apple.
I'm sorry. What came before A?
Did he intend to film the other end of this conversation and didn't? And that's why there's jump cuts? I guess there's jump cuts throughout the whole movie, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. 2 T's.
Then U as an umbrella.
He's just sleeping. I like it. I love it. Let's see here. There's a scene they, because I'm not gonna watch the whole movie. I just like their banter about it. Can you not provide me the scene? Oh, I think it was. Come on.
The Americans.
You know, equal rights, blah, 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 pro-choice. She's like the polar opposite.
She's the opposite of Quentin.
Oh, it's about conservatives lying to the Americans about war on terror, global warming, the economy, the usual. The usual. Yeah.
I just attended a Glenn Beck rally. You want to be friends?
This one kind of catches my eye a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
You hear Mark Levin. Like it's.
She's giving her liberal propaganda.
They're supposed
Don't
to
read that. Ann
Yeah.
Coulter.
Ann Coulter.
Well, now everything's missing.
Wait, she has a book by Ann.
So this is why I expected him to be more, yeah, granted, like I expected him to be more Christofascist because of the imagery in this movie. But apparently he's not. Apparently he fucking hates the Christofascists of America. I have nothing to say. I am floored. Absolutely floored. Paul Kutapali, keep it up, man. I approve. I fucking approve of your methods, and I wish you the best in retaining more viewers. I'm not gonna be viewing you, unfortunately. But please get in contact. If you want to talk, get into contact. I would love to have a conversation with you about the modern American Christofascist right. Absolutely. That would be a banger. Okay. Whew. I have been streaming now for... How long has it been? Why can't I see it? 2 hours. Holy shit. Gauntlet, since you're the only one who's chatting with me, how is the sound and image quality in your view, if you've seen previous streams of mine or videos at least? This is a long sound. Awesome. I have a new microphone, so I'm... Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I think I remember you. I mean, I have 53 subscribers, so it's not that many to remember. And I remember seeing your name pop up. Because at the moment, I am still very excited of every new subscriber. Hey, Brian, thank you. Jesus? Is that you, Jesus? Brian Jesus? Or is it Jesus, perhaps? I when I was 15, since I'm Swedish, I'm a Swedish boy. I'm a tiny Swedish boy. And when I learned Mexicans name their kids Jesus, I knew, because I had a friend who was named Mohammed. So I knew Muslims name their kids Muhammad. But I'd never met someone who was named Jesus. So the only place I knew the name Jesus was the Bible. And then my mind was blown when I learned that Mexicans name their kids Jesus. But they're not Jesus, they're Jesus. My tiny mind when I was a teen was blown by that. Absolutely. Okay. There have been, if we're going to talk about drama, there have been some spicy allegations. I'm Cuban, but yeah, our people are close. Yeah, Cuban, Mexican. To a Swedish boy, what the fuck is the difference, really? I know the difference. I'm just... If Mexico wasn't landlocked with the US, Mexico and Cuba would both be sanctioned, without a doubt. It's harder to sanction your neighbor when you have... Because, I mean, you can just route your goods a different way. It's harder to route your goods when all of the sea around you is controlled by a much, much, much larger and the most powerful nation in the world. But yeah, I'm convinced that if Mexico was wasn't landlocked and couldn't control its own borders as much, it would be sanctioned by the US for sure. Anyway, we're not going to talk about Cuba and Mexico. At least not today. But wait, you're Cuban. But you're not... Okay, yeah. You're Cuban, but you're not in Cuba, I'm guessing? Are you in Florida? Are you Florida, man? Jesus. I've always wanted to go to Cuba, actually. I find it absolutely stunning visually. Okay, before I do this, before the spicy takes, we need more of this in the world. And I don't mean this specifically, but this conceptually, where we could use better roads, we could use better buildings, of course. But just the idea of more spicy takes, yeah. Just the idea of a nation that doesn't control the way it looks as much. I want more artistry with buildings. I hate the modern building. This is a fucking affront to my senses. When I see this, it tells me nothing. Absolutely nothing. When I see this, oh, I love it. It speaks to me. It's visceral. It reminds me, I've spoken too much about Christiania, but it reminds me of Christiania to some extent. The colors, the lack of regulations in terms of how you're allowed to build. Because modern society builds the same way no matter what. This was built before they decided to have a, and I guess they can't really have one, have a, what's it called? A standardized room, a standardized house. Miljonprogrammet. I hate this. This is Sweden. This is... I absolutely hate it. This was built when we had a mass migration here. This was built, you can see, it's just endless, and everything is identical to the next. I don't like it. I want creativity. I want colors. I want meaning. When I go outside, I need to be able to appreciate what I'm looking at. I can't appreciate this at all. And it's not just that building, it's all... If it was just this building, sure. Why not? I like this more. Much more. It flows better. This... It's some Salvador Dali. The guy was smoking some shit. Dope shit, though. This horrible. Ugh. I could live with this. It has some interest. Ugh. This is just architecture wanking themselves. Ooh. You saw me type, but that doesn't mean, because it's Swedish, it doesn't mean you know what it says. What is inside this building? This is a university, a Swedish university that focuses on one thing and one thing only. What program is inside this building? One guess. Anyone? Nobody? Come on, Jesus. Gauntlet. I'm not moving before someone answers me. I'm gonna be here for a while, it seems. Oh, I'm gonna budge. You guys are taking forever. This is the school for architecture. You were in a boss fight? Gauntlet. You should focus on me, of course. The biggest streamer, the best streamer there is, who's not just a 53 subscriber Andy, whatever. This is an architecture school. It's okay, Gond. I'm just fucking with you. This is an architecture school, and it's... I fucking hate it. This is a prestigious architecture school, even. It was. Apparently, they've moved. Is this? But apparently it's this now. Which, while I have my issues, is a lot better than this. Brian, I'm just fucking with you, Brian, and Gauntlet. It's okay. Calm down. And I was waiting here while you were shopping? How dare you? I demand complete and utter subordination from you guys. It's such an ugly building. I can't believe there came out architectures from it. Because if I had to go there, I'd commit Minecraft on myself. It's that bad. It is that bad. And it was voted as the worst looking building in all of Stockholm. And I agree. Not because it's necessarily the worst looking image there ever, or worst looking building there ever was in Stockholm, or there is, but because of its function as an architecture school. Yeah. Anyway, this is Umeå, which is a city up north. This is their architecture school, which again, it's architectures. They're gonna wank themselves off when they build their own schools. Yeah, I like this better, but I don't want it still. Anyway, I'm getting a HDMI for my working gaming laptop. I game and use for everything. You game on a fucking laptop, Jesus? That is... Woo! Woohoo! Woohoo! I could not game on a laptop. I tell you that. Holy shit. I need my desktop. I need my 3080, RTX 3080. I need to be able to upgrade my shit when I feel like it. If I had to buy a completely new laptop every time I wanted to upgrade, I'd have a room full of laptops at this point. Really. Oof. Okay, back to the spicy drama with spicy allegations. Okay, so what is it? September 22nd. That's gonna be a little over 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago by now. The allegations from Adriana Lee dropped on Crazy Slick. These two are Twitch streamers, and there were some spicy SA accusations. And let me just read this article so we have some context, because she went on stream last night, and that's really what I want to focus on, but I want to give context before that. Okay. Twitch streamer Adriana Lee has been at the forefront of most social media news after making serious allegations against fellow Twitch streamer Crazy Slick. According to the 22-year-old female streamer, the latter had inappropriately touched her in January 2020 while she was in an inebriated state. Apparently, she had blacked out, and he was feeling her pulse on her chest. You can do that, but you don't have to. There's a good pulse here. There's a good pulse here. She's not that fat that you're not going to be able to feel it on the hand. Yeah. That's her allegations, at least. At Fuel to Fire, she revealed that Twitch stars Matthew Miskiff and Maya Higa, anyway, tried to silence her back in 2021 by pacifying the entire incident due to their close association with the accused. The fiasco was brought to light earlier this week after Twitch streamer Tyler Trainwreck TV indicated that Miskiff had a role in orchestrating a cover-up of SA. I'm not going to say the whole thing because YouTube likes to censor. What exactly happened? Born in Detroit and among a various streamers who have relocated to Austin, the Austin streamers list is vast and includes the accused Crazy Slick, age 21, and Miskiff, who has also received flack for his conduct. According to Adriana, Crazy Slick, who was 19 at the time, had touched her... God damn it, these are kids! Had touched her neck and chest without consent. She posted a tweet longer which recounted the entire story where she exclaimed, "His actions did make me uncomfortable." We can read the whole thing here. I'm just going around. Jesus, you're working your way up to my level. You're in America, bitch. You're in America. I'm guessing you're a wage slave in America. You're not gonna get on my level. I'm a wage slave in Sweden, bitch. We have unions. We have security. I am unemployed at the moment. I could afford to buy a new mic while being unemployed, despite my taxes being 33 fucking %. You're not gonna get on my level, bitch. Sorry. You can try. Maybe you have a union job. Maybe you are one of the lucky few in America. However, once the topic resurfaced after Trainwreck TV's accusatory tweets, Adriana Lee came forward through her Twitch account to reveal that both Miskiff and Maya had discouraged her from amplifying the incident. She also disclosed a recording of Miskiff where he can be heard saying, "What you can deem of it as harassment, whatever, at a low scale, is not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared." Let's see here, 30 seconds.
It's sexual harassment, whatever. At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like this. I'll just turn it off. Of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment, whatever. At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like this.
Yeah, seems like Miskiff there. I'm sorry, sorry, Jesus. It's my job now. Well, I hope it's my job now. As a streamer, I have to flex on my viewers, you know, so they know their place and they will give me money somehow. That's how it works, right? I've seen the I've seen how the kids do it. Anyway, in her stream, honestly, Jesus, I do wish you the best. I hope you will be able to buy the computer of your dreams. I really do. But I'm not holding my breath for you. I'm sorry. Not in America, at least. In her stream, she also thanked Trainwreck TV for his undying support. She indicated that since Tyler was an established creator, it was easier to share her side of the story. 2 hours. Nope. Since the incident, both Maya and Mizkif have come out to issue a public statement. The latter took to Twitch stream declaring that she had no part in her TwitLonger, while the former has shared a tweet where he is seen owning up to his mistakes. He also revealed that Crazy Slick has been removed from their content house. Okay. But it's like 2 years or 3 years too late. Maya has responded with her side of what happened with Adriana Lee, saying there was no cover-up. She states at the time Adriana said it was not a sexual assault, so Maya asked for that to be included in the TwitLonger and that they did not word that TwitLonger for her. I'm not gonna watch it. Meanwhile, Mizkif has given his statement acknowledging the slurs Ice Poseidon showed him using in 2018-2019 and him dismissing the serious nature of the Crazy Slick situation. Again, investigation on the rest pending. Since the incident was made public, esports and content creation organization One True King Media, OTK, has also gone on to make a public statement clearing that Mizkif has been indefinitely suspended from his managerial duties. They have also indicated the possibility of further inquiries. OTK co-owner Zach Asmongold, however, has refused to make any official statement due to legal reasons. I can understand that. It is, however, unclear if Adriana Lee will further the situation by pressing any official charges against Crazy Slick. It's been 3 years. Can she? Can she? I don't know. I don't know the situation in Austin, what the rules say. The latter has since removed his social media account after initially refuting the allegation and threatening to sue the 22-year-old for libel. With the disclosure of her traumatic experience, Adriana Lee has been rewarded with a spike in viewership as well as followers on her Twitch channel. Those spikes, very few people in those are gonna watch regularly for much long. Gonna stay around really. They flock to her because they're hoping for more drama, and unless she feeds that drama, they're not gonna stick around. I don't think. Feels weird to frame it as a reward. Honestly, yeah, I agree. It's really weird. Why would they frame it that way? It reveals a bias. As of his with the disclosure of her traumatic experience, Ellery has been rewarded with a spike in viewership as well followers on her Twitch channel. As of this writing, she has amassed over 58.4. Where did the 6 come from? 58.4 thousand followers. She usually streams under the Just Chatting category. Prior to the incident, her average viewership ranged between 200 to 2K. However, her last 2 live streams, which were both centered around the charges of misconduct. Can I censor myself live? Misconduct. Received a combined total of over 280,000 views. Yeah, people flock, like I said, people will flock to the drama and then they will dissipate. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. It's no big deal. However, the reason I'm talking about this isn't to bring light to this, because everybody already knows about it. I just wanted to bring some background to this. When women come forward with sexual assault allegations, they are not taken serious. They are dismissed. They are seen as looking for attention. They are looking to be rewarded with attention, aren't they? And it's bad. It's really bad. We need to fix that. It's hard. It's hard to fix it because it's hard to prove that you were sexually assaulted, because sex is sex is legal unless you're underage, or consenting sex is legal. So non-consenting sex, how do you prove it wasn't consenting? Therein lies the difficulty. She has witnesses who apparently corroborates her story to some extent, at least. They corroborate that she was passed out and that he took her pulse by touching her chest. But now she goes on and says this.
It kind of relates to this situation I've been dealing with lately.
It's kind of low, isn't it?
At the end of the day, if I was a man in this situation, everyone would believe me, and there wouldn't be questions, and I wouldn't be getting called a clout whore and whatever, and people telling me oh well, you shouldn't have drank then, that's your fault for drinking, and things like that. It's I don't know. It's really discouraging, because even with the Sienna May thing, everyone supports the victim in that situation who was also asleep and got touched, because for women don't want to support sexual assault or harassment on any level, if it's a guy or a girl. Women see this girl doing this to, Sienna May doing this to someone, and they're like, fuck her, we don't want to support this. But when a guy sees another guy do it to a girl, it's what was she wearing? What was she doing? Well, that's her fault.
Did you hear that? She believes that if she was a man, the allegations would be taken seriously. In some respect, and this is why I wanted to talk about this, because I saw a snippet of this. In some respect, she is correct. If a man gets touched by another man, it will be taken seriously. I'm guessing unless they're gay. I'm not gay, I don't know. If a man, however, is raped by a woman, in some places in the world, you can't even report it. It's not a crime. Unless the woman penetrates your ass with something. There is issues for women to be taken seriously. There are greater issues for men to be taken seriously when the allegations are against a woman. A man who's raped by women, what will they say? Now, this isn't, again, I gave the backstory. It is serious what Adriana went through, and I wish her the best. I have no reason to dismiss her allegations. I have no reason to mistrust her allegations. I don't know. I wasn't there. But people seem to be in agreement around her that it is true and yada yada. So, going back to her statement here, after I given that clarification, so I won't be taken out of context as he's just speaking over the woman. No, completely sure. Go ahead. I completely trust her assessment of the situation. When a man accuses a woman of raping him, what do people say? What do people say to that man? I have a clip that might illuminate.
It's a woman.
What happens? Please don't. Please, Comedy Central, I beg of you. Well, you know what? We can just go like this. You see the show, it's South Park. And then we can go back here.
It's a woman.
A woman?
Yeah, she's having sex with a boy.
Nice. 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 Oh, but she's ugly, right?
Well, no, not really. It's the kindergarten teacher, Miss Stevenson.
The blonde?
Yeah.
Nice. 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 Nice.
Everybody congratulates everybody when the victim is a man. Again, unless the perpetrator is a man. A female perpetrator is never brought, well, I can't say never, is never seen as equally serious as a male perpetrator. Ever. Jesus, you're on the money. I bet it felt great. Yeah. People dream, grown men dream of being raped by a hot woman. We have this situation. Fuck you, fuck you. Australian heiress arrested for allegedly sleeping with a 14-year-old boy. What did people on Twitter say? They said, lucky him. Oh, I wish I was that boy. Ah, why did he destroy such an opportunity? Why? Because she's hot. Who the fuck cares? Boys. Why are they clapping? Who? Fuck you. I hate news sites. I absolutely hate news sites. People lose their minds. They have no sense of right and wrong when a woman is the perpetrator. They have no sense of right and wrong when the man is a victim even. I've been a victim of sexual... I almost said it. Of SA. Of sexual assault. I've been a victim of that. By a man. I told this story on Twitter. And what happened? Most people granted, because it was in under another person who was a victim of SA. And I decided it felt like the right environment to tell the story. So I told the story of how my male coworker, felt me up under the sheets, but above my briefs, because I had briefs on still while I was sleeping. And my reaction in a sleep-induced state was to roll over on my stomach. Because I guess he turned me on my back, because I never sleep on my back. And I rolled over on my stomach and fell asleep because I was that tired, because I had worked so fucking much. It was a work thing. That's not going into details. And then I'm awoken again. Exact same situation. I can only imagine only less than a minute had gone by. Again, in my sleep-induced state of mind, I roll over again. But I don't go to sleep. I do not fall asleep a second time. Fight or flight. Fight, flight, or freeze is the correct term. You can either fight your way out, you can flee the situation, or you can freeze up. I wish that I fought him. I dream of having punched him right then, right there. That was a reoccurring fantasy of mine for years. Now, I don't think of him at all. I wouldn't recognize him if he walked down the street. If he sat next to me, I wouldn't recognize him. I wish back then, and still, to some extent, that I fought him. I didn't. Fleeing. Because what happened the second time I rolled over and didn't fall asleep, he started tugging on my hip for me to roll over again. But I didn't. And he took the hint. He went back to his bed because we were sharing a hotel room at this work event. He went back to his bed, which was on the other side of the room. And he started masturbating. Furiously masturbating. And I mean, you could hear I didn't know what to do. I just laid there, frozen, because I knew if I moved, I had to fight. And I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not the fighting type. I've taken martial arts. I'm trained. I can handle myself. But I'm not that kind of guy. So I decided, or I didn't decide, my body decided for me to freeze up. Which meant I had to lay there and listen to... It's not a pleasant sound at all. Eventually, he went into the bathroom. He turned on the shower. And I decided that's my cue. I willed my body to life again. Packed my things quickly. Went out. Sat down. It was like 4 a.m. or something. 3 maybe. I went out because I believe I had a computer with me. So I just sat on the computer, surfed the web. This was quite a few years ago by now. 10 years ago, perhaps? So the web wasn't as evolved as it is today. Was less things to do, but I found my things to do. Eventually, my all other coworkers got awake and food was served and all that. And I wanted to talk to my boss so that we didn't, because there were 2 buses leaving the area to go back to Gothenburg, where I lived at the time. And I didn't want to sit in the same bus as him. I didn't want to look at him. And my boss, because I went to him and I said, can we talk? And he just blew me off 3 times. Because he assumed I wanted to talk about work. And of course, the last thing he wanted to talk about was work. But eventually, when it got closer to departure, I pulled him aside and said, what the fuck are you doing? And the look on his face when I told him what had happened, he apologized immediately. Again, male on male violence, yeah, this could be taken seriously. That can be taken seriously. Eventually, because we still worked on because I worked on this was a boat we worked on. And eventually, work continued a week later because we were a week on, a week off. Awesome. I loved that type of work. Wish I could have it still. I can't, unfortunately. Eventually, we were working on. They made sure our shifts we didn't share the same levels, at least. We were still on the same boat. We still had the same weeks we worked, but we weren't on the same level, and I appreciate that. However, I did see him in the corridors at times. My reaction? To flee. I hid. And I felt like a little bitch. Holy shit, did I feel bad about that. God damn, was that hard. Seeing him arose all the feelings I had that night again. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Despite him only touching my groin for less than a minute, perhaps, he just felt me up. That's all it took. That's all it took. But since I was asleep and I was completely helpless, had he had a knife? Maybe. If he really wanted to, he probably, and that's the thing. I was completely helpless and under his mercy at the time. I had recounted my experience several times at this point, because I was, back in the day, I was an MRA guy, men's rights activist, and I had told women online what you need to do, and and I still believe this to some extent. I kind of believe this still. It's the way to stop. Jesus, I've been through some stuff. I'm going to therapy now. I appreciate you talking about this stuff. Thank you, Jesus. I've talked about this so much that it's and it's so long ago. I've processed this to such an extent that it doesn't really bother me anymore. And I've never, thankfully, because that could have been a time where I was radicalized against gay people. I've never been radicalized against gay people. Thank fucking God. I've had male coworkers after this incident hit on me, even telling me, "Oh, if only you were gay," because I am a big fluffy guy, you know. I have some hair. Gay guys love me. Gay guys love me, and I appreciate that, you know. Thank you. But yeah, anyway, back to the story. I've recounted this story so many times to my boss, because he had to have something, to the police, to friends. Because again, I told females when I was a men's rights activist, what you need to do to stop rapists in general is to report. Maybe, likely, nothing happens with your report. Maybe you are the first. Maybe maybe the dude doing the assault gets an idea. Oh, wait. The first time I tried, I get reported. Thank fucking God I got away with it this time. Thank fucking God I'm not in jail. Maybe he wakes up from that. Probably not, though. Probably he's gonna think, oh, I got away with it this time despite being reported. But then it happens again. And then a third time. Now, police have 3 people identifying the person as a threat. Now, they can corroborate methods he used to get women into that into that position of vulnerability. You know? Oh, every time this dude is reported, people report being roofied because they had one drink and then they were blackout drunk and they don't remember anything else from the night. Interesting. And these women don't know each other? Huh. Maybe this guy roofies people. Maybe we should investigate that. One person saying it, we don't know. We can't take it serious. How do we know? 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, 20 people. Oh my God, we have a serial rapist on our hands. And I still believe this. I don't know if it will happen, but the odds of it being stopped greatly increases if you report it. So, because of this, I decided I couldn't be a hypocrite. I couldn't take that bait. So I decided, I have to report this. So the day after I got home, I called the cops. A female cop answered. And I gave my report. And I was so mad at her because she, instead of, I don't remember what I wanted, but she gave me pity. Not empathy, pity. And I didn't like that. And I still don't like that. I don't want pity. That's not what I call the cops for. I wanted empathy. Sure, I can take empathy. Of course. Who doesn't want empathy? Empathy. I don't want pity. Don't infantilize me because I had a moment where I was weak, where I was in a position of being taken advantage of. Don't infantilize me because of that. Anyway, I reported him. I didn't report her for giving me pity. That's not a reportable offense yet. It's gonna get there. We're working on it. Trust me, we're working on it. It's gonna get there. God willing. And yeah, so I had to recant this so many times. And then I get a call from my boss, my immediate boss, the guy from the resort who blew me off. And I go into his office on the boat. This is during the work week. And in the office are 2 other men, 2 high-ranking men. And my boss asked me, can you recant the story once more? And I recant the story. And he said, yep, sounds exactly like you told me at the resort. Okay. And during all this time, I'd left out the bathroom part. Or the shower part. I told them he went into the bathroom. I never said anything about the bathroom, or about the shower running, because I didn't see that as important at the time. However, my boss tells me, And this absolutely helped me get over the traumatic experience that I had. My boss tells me, or he asks me, did you ever take a shower? No. It was one night, and I was going home. Everyone was drunk the day after, or hungover the day after. There is no chance of anyone caring that I hadn't taken a shower. And he tells me, well, you see, they found someone had pried open the drainage in a shower, and they've taken a shit inside it. He took a fucking shit in the draining pipe because I didn't want him to. And I realized that this guy's fucking psychotic. What the fuck is the correct reaction to this? He took a shit in the draining pipe after prying the draining the drainage filter off the floor. And the cleaning ladies had apparently found the shit when they were cleaning the room afterwards. I think he told me this because there was really nothing they could do, unfortunately. They should have done things, but he didn't have the power to do those things. How did he even get the drain off? Did he have a screwdriver? No. It's just plastic. You can pry it off if you have the willpower. I don't know if there was something in the. I don't think I ever went into the bathroom even. I don't know if there was anything in the bathroom he could use for it to help pry it off, but it's just plastic. If you want to, you can pry that shit off. All it takes is a willpower, and if that's the only way he can come, that's the only way he can come, I guess. So what should have happened really is be me at least, because there was no evidence of anything, so they couldn't punish him. He didn't go to jail. There was no court date or anything. But I knew nothing would happen. I knew that would happen. And if you watch my last stream, or listen to the video I put out yesterday, perhaps, I think, about Warrior Poet Society, where he says we should believe in, when I defend the children's book, saying knowing you won't win the war is a good thing. Because that kept, if I for a second thought this dude is going to jail because I reported him, because I know it's true, I would have been so fucking demoralized by him not only not going to jail, but being allowed to work at the same workplace as me. That would have been so fucking demoralizing. I don't know. I would probably have been depressed. But knowing that he wouldn't be going to jail and probably would be able to stay on to work, that kept me from falling into a depression. However, nothing happened, and that shocked me. Nothing happened. They didn't offer me a different workplace or a different work area, because we shared the same duties. We were both stewards. We cleaned the fucking boat, both of us, which meant we had the same work hours. We had the same work environment. It wasn't just that we were going to see each other in the corridor or hallways once in a while, be at the same meeting. No. We would be working alongside each other. I couldn't do that at all. Unfortunately, it meant I eventually left the boat. But they could have offered me to work a different week, perhaps. Now, I didn't leave the boat only because of this. This was in 2008. Yeah, it was 2008. The economic crash made the... Yeah, Gauntlet, they really did fail me. But I don't blame my boss for it, because he has... I blame the company. I blame the higher-ups, because they tell the boss what he's allowed and not allowed to do, really. So it's not his immediate fault, at least. Anyway, the reason I say all this, the reason I told this story, is not just to give me sympathy points or anything like that. I have a point. Trust me, I have a point. I recanted this story under this tweet thread. Word for word almost, or at least event for event. And someone replied to me, a man, believe it or not. And he said, I don't believe you. No real man would allow for another man to do that. You either are lying or you enjoyed it. God, my nose itches. What can I say to that? What can I say to that? Whatever I say, he's not going to believe it. I tried reasoning with him. It's Twitter. What the fuck am I trying to do? It was just that man. Nobody else. Everyone else gave me sympathy, gave me empathy, gave me what I expected. Sorry to hear that. Keep up. Glad to hear you're doing well today. But no, this guy, he just flat out refused to believe me. Why? Because I'm a man. Men can't be victims. That's the mantra. So, to wrap all of this up, again, let me see if we go like that.
Especially, like, it kind of relates to this situation I've been dealing with lately, because it's like...
And I'm gonna...
At the end of the day, like, if I was a man in this situation, everyone would believe me, and there wouldn't be questions, and I wouldn't be getting called a clout whore and whatever.
She wouldn't be called a clout whore. They would question, why are you complaining? Unless the person assaulting her is a guy, or him at this point. If she was a man and was assaulted by another man, she wouldn't have been having an increase in viewership. She would have been dismissed right at hand, right off. There would be no reason to believe that had she been a man and the assault had been a woman, there would be no reason to believe that anyone would take that seriously. And on top of that, there is not even a guarantee the police would even accept the report. That's the crude reality for men. We are not capable of being seen as victims by some people. And it sucks. It really sucks. men are just as likely, more likely to be assaulted than women. Not assaulted. Just assaulted. If you go to a club, I'm laughing, but it's a funny video. There is a video. Where is it? Ah, god damn it. It's lost. Can't find it. There's a video of a woman dancing and punching people out around her. Just throwing haymakers as she's making her way through the dance floor. What happened to her? Nothing. Because she's a woman. People don't think women can assault men. How many men have defended themselves? I know. That's his name. What happened? We don't need audio. What happened with Beyonce's sister after she assaulted JC? This is the bodyguard, by the way, of JC. I believe that's the bodyguard. What happened? She has a very successful music career still. I guess Chris Brown also has it. But whenever Chris Brown is brought up, his allegations are brought up as well, isn't it? I don't think I can't remember. I believe her album is called Lemon, but I can't remember her name. I don't care. This is how male victims of assault are treated. The woman is never the assaulter. Just mashing buttons in a crowd. Yeah, she was playing Tekken while she was high on adrenaline in the dance floor. She forgot where she was. She thought she was in VR in a VR game. It's understandable. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, that's pretty much what I want to say. Men are not seen as capable of being victims of assault. It's sad. It really is. Men who are fleeing or trying to... I've seen this live. A man who told a girl to fuck off because she was following him. They were dating, or they were together in some capacity, I believe. I was walking on the other side of the road, and I saw them arguing loudly. And he was trying to tell her to go fuck off because he didn't know if he could control himself. He was warning her. He was warning her repeatedly and shoving her away. And she just kept going. So, and I could peer through the veil of time, and I saw what was going to happen. He was fucking going to jail over assault on a woman who he repeatedly told to fuck off and tried to go the other way. He was actively trying to distance himself from her so that he wouldn't have to punch her. And she just kept weeping, crying, big tears, and telling him to stop, to stay, to don't do this, yada yada. Who cares? If someone tells you they don't know how they'll react and they're trying to leave, just let them leave. But anyway, I decided, you know what? After peering through time and space at her future in the ditch with a black eye and maybe some loose teeth, and his future in jail, I said, you know what? I can prevent this easily. I can step in between. And I did. And I kept her there for probably a minute so that he had some distance. He could disappear somewhere. And then I let her go. Because she wasn't a danger to me. He was a danger to her, and he knew it. And I don't know what was transpired before that. I have no idea. Doesn't matter. He could have been a massive douche, and she could have been justifiably angry at him. And if he told her, if he was trying to leave and he told her, stay the fuck away, stay the fuck away. Let him cool off. To be clear, if he had punched her, unless she was a direct threat to him, doesn't justify it. But it does explain it. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna round off. Round off the stream. Thank you, Gauntlet and Jesus, for being in chat. Very much appreciated. Very, very much. And I thank you for your kind words when I retold my story. I am in need. My girlfriend is telling me I need to go to a barber. I've never been to a barber. I haven't been to a hairdresser in years at this point. I think in the last 15 years, I've been to, if not more, God, I'm getting old. At least in the last 15 years, I think I've been to a hairdresser once. Maybe twice, but I've forgotten about once that I can remember at least. You too, Jesus, and I do hope you'll get that 4080 even. God, I wish I could have a 4080. I don't deserve a 4080, that's for sure, but I wish I could have a 4080. But if I can't have it, you know what? I want you to have it, Jesus. I want you. You deserve it. Seriously, American workers, ooh, you guys deserve so much more. So much more. It is crazy. It is crazy how easily American corporations are fleecing its workers. Jesus, if you get a 4080, I will come for you. I have a certain set of skills, and I will find you. And I will take that 4080 with my cold, dead hands. Because as the son of an American, that is my right. Okay? No. Gauntlet, be kind. There is a device you can buy. If you can afford a 4080 today, you can afford this device. It's an external kind of a computer you can plug your computer into. An external dock thing. Yeah, exactly. Which holds your GPU. You can afford that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Gauntlet. You wish you had aspirations for a 4080. the ray tracings on the video they did, live ray tracing, and it looks realistic as fuck. Ray tracing. Here. I mean, look at this. Not an inch of this scene has been pre-rendered, apparently. Everything is rendered in real time. That is fucking amazing. Now, I'm not the type of guy to say that fidelity is everything, but it is something. I don't want all my games to be high fidelity, but I want some games to be. And the prospect of being able, because I do some game dev, the prospect of being able to put a sun in the sky and just live ray trace everything. That gets me hard. Bruh, I'm still running this 1080 hard like it's an AK-47. Seriously, the 1080 I had before I had my 3080, I had a 970. And I had that shit for years. For a long, long time. I've had this card now since... Is it 2 years now? It has to be 2 years by now. I don't know about America, but I know here in Sweden, thanks to our consumer protections, I bought the card when it came out, but I was on a waiting list for 6 months. I didn't pay anything. I was just on a waiting list. At the time of arrival in the store, at the time of me being able to actually buy the card, because I was on the waiting list, I had to pay the price when I entered the waiting list. That price was MSRP. I didn't pay a dime over 900 euros for my card. And at the time, a 1080 would have gone for like $1,000, probably. Not for this guy. I was so fucking lucky. And I decided I gave to, because my coworker's daughter wanted to get into gaming. And another coworker had an old card that he was selling to her. And I'm like, that's kind of bad, bro. So I decided I gave her my card. For free. Because I didn't need it. I had zero use for it. A 970? I would probably have used it if I had one today. Built a second computer, hooked it up to my TV, used it as a media center. But you know, I can work the HDMI cables. I can route this computer there. It's fine. But I would have liked it. But I like more helping people out. That's just the kind of guy I am. I don't give to charity. I am the charity. That's true, actually. I don't give to charity. I am terrible with my money, as you probably can understand, because I have ADHD. So I need all the money I can get myself. But when I can give something away to someone who needs it, I'll do it. Anyway, that's enough rambling for me. Oh, I am tired. My vocal cords are dying. I haven't talked this much for this long for years. Okay, I can do that. I can do my current setup. I have my I have my 3080. I have a 4K NVIDIA G-Synced screen. I have a second monitor. I have my second monitor, which is a 1080. I used to have, not that long ago, I had my 1080 monitor be my main monitor. And my second monitor was then a 720p, I believe. I'm going to upgrade my my CPU. That's the next thing coming. If only device, no, not device manager. Oh God. System. My CPU is a Ryzen 7 37000 X8 core processor, an AMD. Yeah, I'm bouncing too, Gauntlet. No, don't worry about it. Thanks for staying by this in the stream, and I hope to see you next time. Anything else? I have 32 gigabytes RAM. I can't remember the exact brand of RAM. That matters even. I'm not sure. And then, not that long ago, which I didn't remember I did, but apparently I did. I bought an IOU. Is it IOU? AIO, not IOU. AIO. With a little screen on it. I like the screen. I'm not using it because the glass side is to the wall at the moment for some reason. Or I know the reason, but you know, I don't like the reason. A Corsair IQ what was it? A Corsair IQ H100i Elite LCD. Open image. This one. But I have 3 fans cooling it. So that's my current setup. But yeah, I'm dipping now. Thank you so much for sticking around, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for everything. Honestly, it's been a blast.